Well, before I talk about that SmackDown from last night we saw, let's get to review a different promotion for this week. This is Global Revolution here, and this is my first time solely talking about AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And this week they just debuted their new TV show called Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. And it's on every Wednesday night. We also will compete against NST. And and the pressure I will have to tell I can't imagine the pressure that was on AEW to really deliver the goods with this show. And I truly mean that because this is their first time ever on TV. And every NXT now being their competition, it was really gonna be extra. There was gonna be that extra pressure to put on a clinic show, just on a clinic wrestling show, and I think they did that. I don't think it was like perfectly awesome or overly, but it was a solid wrestling show for their first TV show. I think they will grow stronger. And hats off to that crowd. I will have to admit, AEW could not have picked a better crowd for their debut on TV on TNT than this year because man, that crowd was hot. I mean, hot for everything, especially that opener match with Cody against Sammy Guevara is what it is. And this was a really good match. I'll have to admit the crowd was really into it. Um, Sammy Guevara looked good out there against Cody, who is wrestling Chris Jericho at the next AEW pay per view in November, which is called Full Gear, I believe. Again, and it's gonna be for the AEW World Championship. But this what the Sammy Guevara Cody match was really good. That the crowd was into them, and and there was a spot in the match where Sammy like pushed Brandy Rose, Cody's wife. Oh, uh, whatever. Cody's wife, yeah, Cody's wife. And Sammy Guevara pushes Brandy Rose as Cody was about to do a suicide dive, and he lands towards Brandy Rose. And yeah, that was pretty funny to see. And pretty funny to Brandy just right after slap Sammy Guevara. That was, yeah. And and I think I think and and the end it was like and very it, Cody beat Sammy Guevara with a small package. With I heard some people complain like why he was with a small package, but like that doesn't take away my enjoyment for the match. And I'm sure as many people will agree to me that this didn't take away from that match. It was a really good. And the post match that beat down with Tony Schiavone, who was there by the way, was about to like interview Cody, interview Cody, and just as it was like Tony Schiavone was interviewing Cody, right, and then Sergio Guevara, who was still in the ring by the way, stares at Cody, asked for the handshake. They shook hands, and just when they just shook hands, out comes Chris Jericho to immediately push it out. The little bit of the bubble, as you can, as he will say, Chris Jericho beats down Cody, and it was a really cool beatdown. And this was to gain more heat for their eventual match for the AEW title at full gear on next month. So it was a strong match. The next was AJA versus Brandon Cutler. This was like that good match as the the opener match, and clearly MJF was the star here, and you all knew. And Brandon Cutler, I think he could have benefited from having video package about him or something. And I think he needs to get more work like in the ring. So yeah, NJF being Brandon Cutler. That the next match was Hangman Adam Page versus the Bastard Pack. Is it really funny to you when they call Pack Bastard Pack? That was pretty fun. Now this is a really good match, and but the early was a little bit slow. Like Pack was like stalling the crowd like the other person, but the match I think it progressively got better and better over time, and Pack was like, and there and Pack pretty much beat Adam Page with the same move that he gave to Kenny Omega at All Out last month. What, almost 2 months. It was a month and a half ago. Sorry, a month and a half ago. So Pac hosted in that submission, like it's almost like what do you even like call that, like something. And he used that same submission maneuver to be a Hangman Page, but it was really a good match, and Hangman Page as a Page, um, he has promise as potential maybe, but right now it's just not the time you can say for like Adam Page to the real, but like I give him shoot like two like good 2 3 years to be my end. Maybe then he will become a main event. He will be a world champ. I think he will be a world champion in AEW one day, but it's just not now. Um, but Pac has been nothing but stellar, and you can say that other company, WWE, dropped the ball. Another great, what a surprise! The next match was really great in the AEW Women's Championship is Rio versus Nyla Rose. I can't pronounce it. I'm pronouncing for now. Nyla Rose. So Rio versus Nyla Rose for the intro AEW Women's Championship. This was a really great match. I think might be like a match of the night for that show. It got a really lot of time, and yeah, it was a really great match. Um, it it like I was like, name it shit, like I was like so happy attention to like AWNC. I was like rushing some of the both shows, and when I grateful like because this match was a lot. It had a lot of time, and really, it's like Rio overcame the the orange of the Nia Rose and Shotamaso and Rio is now Rio is now the champion. And this was a really great match. The match should have been really good. I would guess. Even the main event, which was the Elite, which is the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho and LAS. Yes, Santana and Ortiz. This was a solid match, a solid main event. Um, I gotta say, Chris Jericho's new finisher has. I really like how they really protected you this effect finisher in that once he hits you like that's it. That's the finish to the match. And to me, it's like so refreshing because it seems like most, and I mean most of, if not all, like all, most, if not all, big time matches WWE, the finishes will always get treated like non big deal. Like for instance, like 1 2 months ago, like Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. Reigns kick out Fire Fives or Styles and Cena. Cena kicks out. Like most of the big matches in WWE for the last 2 3 years, I would say the furniture can go get way over there. And it's not like actually some matches, but like jeez. Like look at NXT. Look at NXT at Takeover in New York. Johnny Gargano kick out like out of four fucking he kick out everything. That fucking kick out everything. So yeah, so at least it's a bit refreshing to see a new maneuver actually like the effects actually has an effect. Like it could take you out. So it will mean more a lot. It will mean a lot when somebody does kick out of it eventually. Because you know it's gonna happen. But once it's kicked out, it's gonna mean something. If when the time is right. So yeah, I really like the use of it. And then after the Jericho LNS win, um, Cody makes the save and got tapped by Sammy Guevara again. And then Dustin Rose hit the ring on his lays all out the heels. And then Jack Gallagher, aka the former Jack Swagger, debuts in AEW. Jack Gallagher, I don't care too much about the guy, to be honest. I mean, for that show, he really felt like a big deal that he ever was in WWE. That's what I will say for damn sure. He looked like a bigger star here than he was in another in that company. But like, uh, I will see how he has done better. I will imagine he will get better in the ring. So yeah, so AEW Dynamite ends with all heels. Jericho, Elias, and Jack Gallagher taking out the Abyss. So. And John Moxley, yes, John Moxley attacked Kenny Omega, and they are really sick, dirty DT onto the glass. That looked brutal. I can't imagine the pain on to be put to glass. It's really freaking over to be pulling that glass. I can't imagine. So yeah, really great stuff. And all in all, this was a really solid wrestling show for the week. And I think AEW will get much stronger with with their with their product. And they even beat NXT of the rings. How about that, Vince? Well, I will talk about more on SmackDown tomorrow, I believe. So yeah, so there's definitely W to hopefully more AW videos to come right here. So yeah, let's just subscribe. Tell me what you think about AW and their product and this show for this week in the comment section below. I'm Jason Maenius, and I approve this message.